Hey guys, it's Nikki from Still Moments Nursery. I had a request on how I fill my doll bodies, so I thought I'd quickly show you how I do that with this little doll kit that I've just finished. I've weighted all of his limbs, so all his limbs have been painted, all his nails have been tipped and sealed, and I've weighted and filled them. So basically I have attached the legs, so all the legs have been attached to his body. He had long legs, so I've given him a body with no hip joints. So when you put him in a nappy, the nappy will sort of come to the side just here, and you'll be able to see his little legs out compared to having these hip joints. So they're two different bodies that you can sort of get depending on the type of limbs that you've got. But because his legs were slightly longer here, I wanted to actually put them into a full body because I thought that they would actually make him look a little bit longer than what he's meant to be. So I've already attached his legs to the body. I've got a weighting sack here, which I've just weighted with large glass beads. Now these beads are large enough that they're not going to come through the stockings, as you can see. So when you're actually weighting your dolls, it's best to actually have them in stockings because then they're not sort of going to move around and they're not going to leak out the seams of your dolls if like the seams aren't actually sewn properly. But the seams on him or on this body are really nicely sewn. It's a Bountiful baby body, and on the inside you can see it's all nicely double overlocked, so it's not going to fray or pull apart or anything like that. So when you're actually buying your bodies, guys, make sure that you're sort of getting, decent quality body, because then your doll's going to last a lot longer. So what I've done, I've put in about, I'd say it's about a cup, sort of just a cup and a half of large glass beads in a stocking. And I've left a little bit of room at the top, so they can sort of move around the body and it's not going to be like a hard lump. So if you do tie your knot sort of down there, you can sort of see it's going to be a lot firmer in your doll. So to make your dolls sort of floppy, leave a little bit of room for movement. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to move his body around. And also what you need as well, guys, is some fluff, so some nice soft filling. Try and get ones that's not so, like you can get ones that are like brittle and they sort of feel synthetic. So try and get the ones that is sort of nice and fluffy. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to grab a little bit of fluff and I'm going to just pop it into the body, just in the bottom. So I normally start with about a handful, and I'll just place that just sort of in the bottom area, just like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my weighting sack, and you've got to just watch these as well, because as you can see there's a little sharp point on that, and you can actually rip your weighting sack. So what I normally do is I'll just turn those sort of inside out like that, just to avoid the catching, and then I'll just place that just on the top of my fluffing, and then you can bring those back out. So then it should be sitting on your fluff inside the body, and it should sort of look like that. Now what I will do after that is I'll grab another handful of fluff and I'll put it on top of the body, or on top of the weighting sack. So that sort of pushes out his little belly, and that's what it sort of should look like. And then you just keep working yourself around, sort of go around the side of the weighting sack, and you're just basically wanting to cover the whole weighting sack with your fluff, and that will avoid you actually feeling it on the outside of your doll when you're holding them, and it'll make them feel all nice and fluffy. So once you've sort of done sort of roughly half the body, just like that, you can sort of see that this weighting sack is all covered with fluff. And then what I do is I'll just sort of pick it up, and you can just sort of move it around and try and sort of get it in the little bum area, because then you can pose them and it's actually going to feel like they've got a little bottom. So the weighting, as you can see, is sort of in the bum, just like that. And then what you can do is lie them flat. So make sure their legs are every which way. And then all you need to do is just fill up the remaining half of the body. And what I normally do as well is with the cable tie, see how it's loose? What I'll do is I'll just tighten it. I'll just pull it just gently, not all the way because you don't want to close the body up, but just enough that you can sort of see where the neckline's going to be on your doll. And then with your head, you can actually grab your head, depending on the thickness of your head, and you can just sort of see if it's going to fit. Sort of just like that. And that you've got enough room to play with there, like that. And then what you can do is grab a little bit of fluff. Now, not too much because you don't want to have big puffy shoulders. So I'll just put a little bit of fluff in there. And just want to sort of, you know, keep playing around with it to sort of see how they sort of fit and how much fluff you want to put in them. But that's about what I would sort of put in, or maybe put in a little bit more. But you can sort of see it's not too fluffy. It's not too puffy, I should say. So you're not sort of, you know, stuffing a whole heap of fluff in there and then, you know, your sort of doll will sort of stick out like that and look a bit funny. And this way, because he's a sleeping one as well, his arms will be a lot more floppy. So I'll just put in a little bit more. And again, I'm just going to tighten that cable tie just a little bit. And then I'm going to attach his arms. Now, attach the arms after you've weighted the body because it will actually be a little bit more difficult to actually fill the body if you've got weights on the arms, because it will actually move your body around and sort of just make it a little bit more difficult. So attach your arms after you've weighted the middle of your doll. And again, you can sort of just bring the cable tie in, and I will bring it in sort of to about that. Because then if I need any more fluff, I can just gently poke it sort of in that little hole. But you can sort of see, you know, how it's going to sort of sit. So that's actually really nice. I like that. It's not too fluffy and it's not too sort of not filled enough. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to tighten that up. So just pulling on that cable tie. Don't pull it too tight because you still want the arm to rotate, but you don't want it to sort of come out. So the way that I test it to sort of see if it's going to come out is if you just hold one side of the body and sort of gently pull away, and you can sort of see if it's not tight enough, it'll actually start to pull away. So I'm going to tighten that just a little bit more, make sure if it still turns, and again check to see if it's going to come off. And it's just a matter of playing around and making sure that the arm still turns. And once you're happy with that, then you can cut off your cable tie and just feed it back through like I showed you when I was reattaching Aiden's head in his vlog. And I'll put a link to that, guys, in the description bar below so you can see that as well. And then I'm going to do that to the other side exactly the same. So I'll just turn it around. So again, just tighten that cable tie up. A little bit more fluff. And just poke it in and make sure you sort of get it into the tops sort of area. So just sort of poke it in and then just spread it around. And again, just put on the arm, poke in the remaining fluff with your finger, just like that. And just gently tighten it just a little bit. And I might put a little bit more in that just because I can sort of squash it a bit too easy. So I'll just put a little bit more. And there's the other arm. So you don't want too much sort of poking out. So that's actually a little bit too much. So I'll just take out a little bit more. And it's just a matter of playing around to sort of see, you know, how it's going to look. But just like that. So I'm quite happy with that. So I'll attach this arm now. And again, I'll sort of push that up to the top to avoid the fluff coming out. And then you can see there's little bits of fluff sort of just sticking out the side there. So I'm actually going to just gently poke that in. And it's just a matter of working it around until you get all that fluff in. You don't want any fluff sticking out. And then tightening up Again, making sure that you can turn the arm and it's not going to come off. So that's good. So I can still turn his arms. So that's how I would weight the body. Now, if you wanted him to be a little bit more sort of floppy, just remember that you have actually weighted the head, and I've actually weighted his head to be quite heavy. So I'm actually going to put in probably a little bit more fluff in the top, just to support his little head when I do attach his head. Stay there. So what I'm going to do is I'll just put in a little bit more. You can actually put in two weighting sacks if you like. You can put another one in at the top, which will sort of weight his chest more, and that'll give him the sort of more floppy body here. But I don't normally do that because I find the weight in the head is enough to give them that floppy body. As long as you put in enough fluff at the top to support the head or the weight of the head, it should be fine. So that is basically how I weight my body. So what I'm going to do is next I'll probably just attach his head, and he will be ready for photos. Alright guys, so that's how I weight my doll bodies. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments bar below. And remember to subscribe using the subscribe button at the top. But yeah guys, thank you for watching, and let me know what you guys think. If you've got any questions, let me know and I'll be happy to answer them. But that is how I weight my reborn baby dolls, or the middle of them anyway. So thanks guys for watching. Bye!